And we're live. All right, let's go over what happened this week. Crypto hit a new all-time high, well, Bitcoin, and a lot of the market has been pumping. Now, we've also seen additional support for Pudgy Penguins. Coinbase recently changed their profile to a Pudgy Penguin. Pudgy Penguin games are launching. People can share revenue with the IP that they hold. Sin had a really good post on it, so let's take a look at it. I recommend following Non-Playable Sin. She's on TikTok as well, and really great content about crypto in general. So LOL Land game and Yield Guild submission deadline has passed. License your Pudgy to be playable in YGG's latest game on Abstract. Do You Moose is licensing little Pudgies into themed fabrics. Coffee Culture TH is looking for Pudgies to display in their coffee drip bags. Get 5% royalties on all products sold with your IP on it. So Pudgy Penguins is pretty amazing when they try to monetize their content, so there is a lot of opportunity there, and it might be something to watch. Now, I don't know if we should take a look at the NFT prices, because that's going to be I'm gonna assume it's pretty high, so we're gonna go into OpenSea, and we can see the top collection right now is Pudgy Penguins, of course, with a floor price of 11 ETH, and ETH is about $3,000 at the moment. So yeah, the floor price is pretty high. It is a car. So yeah, about $34,000 for the floor of Pudgy Penguins. So we're just taking a look at the news. I'm also streaming on TikTok, so trying to unlock the features so I can use OBS and my computer. So you might not be able to see the things I'm looking at on my computer here. So Pudgy Penguins, I like what they're doing. I am missing out what's happening on Abstract and Abstract Chain. They are launching a lot of games, and they have a streaming platform, but they didn't let me in, so I can't stream there. I'm trying to get in so I can stream, but I think that what's lacking is being able to explore what's in there without having to log in. So if I hit Explore Portal, it makes me log in. Hold on, I don't want you to see my email addresses. But yeah, you can't just browse. You can't just start looking at streams. You have to create an account and log in. So that is kind of a big drawback. I don't know if they intentionally do that or if it was an oversight, but it would be nice for people to, get exposure to some of these streams without having to log in, because that's how all the other video platforms are. And if you reduce friction for users and they like what's going on there, maybe they can see what's happening. So all right, let's pick a stream. Buy your Pengu or he gets it. I think the rules on this streaming platform is a lot looser than other platforms. So it seems that people can do things there that maybe you shouldn't be seeing on other platforms. So I skipped a lot, but yeah, you can see there's some regular streaming. I don't know if people are just playing videos or yeah. Let's take a look. From pixels to pitches to abstract coded. Let's see if anything is happening. This person's streaming a soccer match. It seems like a local one. What are we gonna pick here? All right. That one looks dangerous. Someone's looking at charts. Let's see what this guy's doing. The cowboy with the sunglasses. He's watching YouTube. I mean, I get that. I would do that too. Let's see. Drink It ABS Gaming in Spanish. Been streaming. Oh yeah, that is just gambling. All right, so lots happening there. But it is nice that they are building a platform. They have different games. They're backed by a lot of VCs. So they have the money to really build something that goes beyond the regular things we see in crypto. And you can see, yeah, there's been a jump in the floor price of Pudgies, especially since Coinbase just changed their profile image. So we're seeing a lot more support there. So that might be something to watch, or at least get exposure to by being in the abstract ecosystem. Now, in this post by Emily Lai, I really enjoyed. They were at ETHCC, the Ethereum crypto conference in Cannes, and they got Octant to sponsor their dinner. Basically, they were going to dinner. Dinner's going to be pricey out there because it's a nice dinner, and they put out a tweet saying, hey, who wants to sponsor this dinner? We'll make a video for you. And that's what happened. So if we take a look at Octant, they're building the infra for sustainable growth powered by DeFi aligned with Ethereum. Don't know what that means. Don't know what that means in practice. And I still don't know after the video. So we'll take a look. So this is the video that they created in just one evening where it kind of, let's just watch it. Let's just watch it.
An ultra high net worth individual? Manage a meme coin treasury fund? Does your dad work at Enron? Then stop scrolling right now. If you or someone you know manages a lot of money, then you need to be using Octant V2 so you can make that money grow and invest in more important things, like girl dinner. Cheers!
Okay, so the key message there was that Octant helps manage your funds so you can earn from it and you can just go enjoy dinner. So I get that they simplified it really nicely while showing an experience. So that's what I got from that. And they filmed it very quickly. They didn't share who was going to create the videos because each of these people have a pretty large following. So Octant did a really good job of, or got really lucky picking them out, and they made a really nice video for them. So they got their a total of 30,000 impressions and even more from them chatting about this after for the price of a dinner. So that was pretty good marketing. And now I'm proposing dudes dinner. A bunch of us dudes go out to dinner and try to get different crypto projects to sponsor us. But it doesn't necessarily have to be a project that's we promote. It could be a project making us trash the competitors. So that might be a lot more fun if we do that at a crypto event. So I'll be at Token 2049 Singapore and the Taipei Blockchain Week in September. Maybe we can set it up. We'll call it the trash talk dinner or something. So that is an amazing angle. I highly recommend if you are looking for marketing content, follow Emily Lai. Octant, still don't fully know how everything works. Maybe I'll take a look in the future, or if they'd like to do a interview, that would be awesome too. Now, Steven from DeFi Dojo had this really nice thread on pitching and raising from VCs. All right, Brand, bro, we need dudes dinner. All right, I'm glad people are on board with this. Yeah, dudes dinner, and we just trash talk like the competitors of whoever sponsors us. I am 100% on board with this, especially for Singapore because food's expensive there. We can get a really nice dinner sponsored, hopefully. But I guess depending on the sponsor and what their budget is, it could be anywhere from Costco hot dogs to extremely high-end restaurant at the top of the Marina Bay Sands. So let's change our mindset and take a look at how VCs invest in projects. And in this thread by Steven from DeFi Dojo, here's what I learned so far while pitching to VCs and raising from VCs. So VCs are highly cooperative. The benefit here is that they share diligence. At the meeting with a VC, they often ask, who else would you like to meet? I'd love to get you in contact with X, Y, or Z. This makes sense, but it surprised me. So yeah, VCs want to connect their other projects together. They want to make sure that everyone in their portfolio is being raised up together. So that makes sense. They all ask the same questions. How does this scale from 1 billion to 2 billion and beyond? How have you considered the regulatory landscape in relation to what you're building? Meaning, are you gonna get sued? What's your go-to-market strategy? Who are your competitors? They want to invest in someone who can succeed, and if it's a super easy project to copy, well, then they don't have anything that they can hold on to. It's just going to be them fighting against a lot of people doing the same thing. So, these are things we should be asking when we're looking at crypto projects for investment in the long term. In the short term, you can always take those gambles and follow the hype and the sentiment. But if we're looking at things long term, these are things we should be looking for. And Stephen goes on to, talk about the experience that VCs offer value and expect you to be the target for that value. And that's pretty much what I got from it. So I just want people to help with their mindset when they invest in a crypto project. What is this project doing that is different from other projects, and are they going to survive? Because I've seen a lot of people comment about some blockchains that, they want promoted, but they haven't seen that growth that, no one's building there, and that's going to make it difficult. So in this post by Grayscale, they have announced that they are adding more digital assets to what they are making available to their traditional finance customers, and they're showing all the different assets under consideration. Now, Grayscale doesn't move the needle too much, but it is nice to have that additional exposure, especially in a bull market. So they are showing off the assets under consideration for smart contract. They have Aptos, Arbitrum, Celo, Mantle, Mega ETH, Monad, and Toncoin. The asterisk down here, assets not included in Grayscale crypto sectors as of June 30, 2025. So they might be adding Mega ETH and Monad when those launch, because those tokens are not yet available. As well as Playtron. If you know the SweetPlay 0x1, the handheld gaming device, that is Playtron. So that is a consumer product that allows regular consumers to play Web3 games, Web2 games, pretty much any kind of handheld game, as well as other projects in consideration like Virtuals, Story for IP, which has been pumping lately. I still don't believe in it because there's no activity there, but it's pumping like crazy. So I'm just gonna stay sidelined on that one. But I am holding some Pudgy because they've had a lot of momentum, and people are saying that is going to be the Dogecoin of this cycle. Not financial advice. That is just what I'm doing as far as like more of the consumer and culture play. So Grayscale is considering all these different assets. That won't necessarily mean these coins will pump, but they just mean they're a little more legitimate than the other projects that aren't getting considered here. So, things to look at. You want to see what traditional finance is looking at and why they're picking these coins and maybe not some of the other coins. Now, they do actually support a lot of different crypto projects already, so that's not to say their portfolio is only limited to this. All right, and as for things I did this week, I had a lot of chats. I was on stream a lot this week, and I am right now. So just last night, I had this interview with Blue Shift. I thought it was a fantastic conversation. Might sound boring, but I was talking to people that are helping developers onboard into Solana. So this was a meeting with Blue Shift. This was a live stream. You might want to watch it. It was pretty interesting to see their enthusiasm for helping people get onboarded into Solana. So if you're like a new developer and want to get involved, they have the educational material for you. If you are an existing project that's on an EVM chain and want to support Solana in your dApp, they also make that possible. They're the team that onboarded Virtuals into Solana in just 3 days. So yeah, they do a lot of good work with just a team of 4 people. So that was a fantastic chat I had. I also had this chat with his real name. God. Let's see. Let me put it. I think it's Mehdi Labar. Yeah, Mehdi Labar or Elmidu on X. He's running Yield Optimizer or at Yield on X, and they are funded by Paradigm as well as some other big VCs, and they were previously with Uber and Uber Eats, and they got into generating yield, and they create these different vaults or different baskets, or you can say like ETFs, where they earn yield on multiple protocols on your cryptocurrency ETH Bitcoin, stablecoins, and it was a great conversation of what they're building and why. So I recommend checking that out, and that is available on the Off-Brand Crypto channel, either on YouTube or Spotify. And then I was also on a stream with BitGet and their KCGI. So that is their trading competition, $6 million in rewards. And if you aren't going to trade, that's fine too. You just check in daily and get those daily airdrop mystery boxes, and you can actually win something. Or you stream. Oh, I should have been streaming on BitGet Live too. There's actually rewards for people that are streaming there because they want exposure to that platform. I should probably add that to the stream right now. So I'm just gonna stall for time while I add there. And basically, I think you just need time spent streaming to get some rewards. But if you're not gonna stream, all you have to do is have an account and log in every day and do your daily check-in, and you could get some decent rewards. So something to consider. And I thought it was funny that they asked me, Dan, do you have any advice for traders to help them in this competition? And as someone who wants to win competitions, I said, hell no, I don't have any advice for those guys. They're on their own. This is my time. I'm going to win. I got to clip that up and put it on socials because I thought that was hilarious. And they were trying to come up with ideas of what to give away for the prizes, and that would be fantastic if these exchanges had suggestion boxes, because they're looking to give out these big prizes. I've seen exchanges give away like Teslas, Ferraris, like very high-end cars. I want them to give away a McDonald's franchise. That's what I would love. You get an asset that you can use immediately, that can only grow in value, that prints you money, and that would be like one of the best prizes out there. So if you're an exchange or someone with a lot of money that wants to give people something as a big prize for participating in something, give away a McDonald's franchise. That would be one of the best prizes. But yeah, that's like $1 to $2 million for the land and licensing and all that. All right, more conversations. We're jumping into more posts, conversations with Dead Chain. So we want to find out what makes things successful, why people want to invest in something, and why some things die. So in this conversation with a Dead Chain, they raised $25 million on a $250 million valuation, then $75 million on a $750 million valuation over 2 years, $100 million raised for 20% equity, teams of 40 to 50 full-time employees, 200,000 average compensation. So they're burning $9 million a year because if you are in crypto, it's expensive to hire talent, and to get that talent from other chains. There is a limited pool of talented individuals out there. So add $4 million per year in operations, legal, travel, SaaS. I forgot what SaaS means. Total burn $13 million per year. So if we're looking at one of the larger blockchains, that's what we can expect in them burning money. So they have to be making at least $13 million a year. Otherwise, they're just burning their treasury. So keeping 80 million in T-bills, treasury bills, earning 4%, that gets them 3.2 million per year in interest. Launch a token, trades at $1 billion valuation. Treasury owns 30%, 300 million. They have to sell, and they always do. Sell 30 million to USDC. Total cash raised is now 130 million. Monetize the balance by selling covered calls, which I heard a lot do, in $500,000 to $1 million a month in income. Business has $100 million in cash and $250 million in native assets. Now, that is kind of the play for a lot of these blockchains launching, and you kind of see it where they're all kind of doing the same thing. There isn't anything too unique. Maybe they're not really innovating, and eventually they slowly disappear. So you want to be careful, because this is kind of the playbook for a lot of blockchains launching. Obviously, if you're early, that's a lot of opportunity, but maybe you don't want to be there long term. And in this other post, and I don't know why, this week was like VC post week, and I saved a couple of them because they were fantastic. In this post by Asaf Nadler, the co-founder and CEO of Addressable ID, he does a lot of like AI content and does some streams. So he goes into this post. She raised $6 million to change the system. 7 months later, she was tweaking retention slides for a VC board that barely used the product. That's not betrayal, that's survival. So they have to like change, they have to pivot, and we see this a lot when AI got big. So many projects pivoted to AI, and they want to keep that attention. They want to be where people are chasing. So you often blame the founder for chasing profit. What you overlook, though, is the clock behind her burning at $150,000 a month, probably more than that, depending on what the project is. Investors are circling, a team waiting on payroll. She didn't ignore your feedback, just couldn't afford it now. She wanted to empower creators. The pitch deck said so. The tweet said so. Even she believed it at the start, but then came CAC. I forgot what that means. Retention, a missed quarter, a down round, and suddenly the mission felt to you like a second priority. You think she sold out? She thinks she bought time. This is the part most non-founder critics don't get. She's not building in a vacuum. She's building in an open world of competition. What Clayton Christensen called the innovator's dilemma. This is it in blood and burn rate. To survive, you need help. To get help, you make promises, and every promise pulls the mission further from its roots because you keep making compromises. It's not because founders are heartless, it's because the system is hungry. Investors and KOLs want their 10x. Everyone's in here to invest and make money. Employees want their equity and career path to grow and own. Everyone wants the story to end with a win. But here's the catch. You don't build a meaningful company in theory, you build it in the trenches, between two bad options and one brutal truth. If your impact doesn't fund your runway, it dies. So no, they're not saints, but they're not villains either. They're high-stakes gamblers, balancing conviction and promise. On a wire strung over 18 months of capital. If you want to fix that, stop mocking their pivots, stop blaming players, try to understand them, or try to do it different yourself. So this is in defense to the founders building projects that don't work out. A lot of them are trying, and it's really hard to tell who's trying and who's just trying to make a profit. So this just goes to show that it's really hard to build a product that people want that will get you that 10x, and sometimes most fail. So right now we are in a bull market and things are pumping. So there are things that I'm not going to short, but if things cool down, I know which projects aren't doing well and will be shorting. So we really have to remember that a lot of projects don't make it in crypto, and even if we're in a bull market and things are pumping, we want to learn to take profit when we can. All right. Brand. Wow, McDonald's franchise would be cool. I think it will be. Even if instead of having open bar, you just have open McDonald's, that would be fantastic. Give away a Pals franchise. I'm not sure what that is. I'm not sure what that is. That could be maybe a regional restaurant, but yeah, let me know what Pals is. All right, more stuff. Hasib, stablecoins are the backbone of digital finance. Agora is building the infrastructure to scale them globally. Stablecoin as a service will break this wide open, with every multinational exploring launching their own. We led Agora's seed round and invested in their Series A because they believe their team can pull this off. So a $50 million raise by Agora with Paradigm and additional support from Dragonfly. I don't think we can invest in any of this. This is just stablecoin infrastructure for traditional finance. But as we've seen lately, there's been a lot of stablecoin demand from traditional finance, with Circle launching, with Tether raising over $1 billion in just a few days, where people really believe in stablecoins because they survive. They survive. They have a very clear business model and customer base. So that's kind of what's going on in crypto this week. And Pump.Fun is launching their coin. I don't know if you saw the commercial. We're gonna play it here, and I'm gonna leave the audio off because it's a little intense. The audio is a little too intense. Let me know what you guys think about this commercial. It's yeah, I don't know who this commercial's for. Because you have your customers, you have the potential investors because they're doing their ICO today, their initial coin offering on Saturday, July 12th, and then an airdrop. Their plan is to kill Facebook, TikTok, and Twitch on Solana. Now, they already kind of have a lot of money, a lot of infrastructure, so the ICO is really just another way to raise more money. It's something, if I get an airdrop, awesome, but I don't think I'll be participating too much in this. I think I heard streamers that streamed on Pump Fun got a pretty big airdrop or allocation. I guess the new opportunity or new new less crowded field for airdrops is streaming. All right, crypto launchpad, advanced trading, live streaming, mobile. You're back in your room. You're doing laser eyes. Pump.Fun. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this commercial. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let's see what we have in the comments. They show the token distribution. I feel like they spent quite a bit on that commercial, and then I was like, well, we got to use it. Remember the word after pump is dump? Yeah, it could be possible. I like this. The trenches, community and ecosystem, team. Most of the allocation probably secretly team. So I'm gonna pass on Pump Fun. Let's see what else we got. Killed. Built ecosystems firsthand. Accelerators and incubators are a total waste of time and money, and actually a net negative to ecosystems. Why? King making doesn't work for ecosystem building. It actively disrupts the competitive habitat of a chain. The most important thing to understand is the foundation. You literally never know who will be your biggest builders or months or years down the line. Now, I remember over a year ago, there was this layer 2 blockchain that had $100 million ecosystem fund, and that was spread out after a while, and it just nothing happened to it. So even if you throw a lot of money at something, people are going to come in and extract it by building things, but that still might not bring people into their ecosystem. So the message behind this post is that, yeah, you could have these short-term gains and pumps by saying you're building a lot of things, but things don't work out. So I've been getting a lot of different insights on crypto Twitter lately from BC stuff, and they're in positive support for Mega ETH. That is something that we saw earlier with the Grayscale post. Mega ETH does focus on consumer experience, and they have really good apps. Maybe we'll spend a day just diving into what's available and seeing how the products work. Yeah, I think we might do some ecosystem days. Let's go. What did I miss? Not much. We're just going over different news trending in crypto. So much happened, but I didn't really save that much. So we're going into different things. Might have a dude's dinner for Singapore Token 2049. If you're interested, yeah, tweet and tag me dude's dinner on X, and then we'll see if we can get some sponsors. Well, maybe we'll build an app that just lets people bid on the sponsorship for dude's dinner, what we have to eat and what we have to talk about. That could be pretty good, where you get an airdrop for participating. I like that idea. I might build something. All right, so looking at more news. Actually, that's the same news. Teng Yang. Microsoft just built an AI agent that beats doctors. Google shipped a CLI agent. Workers want very different things automated. I think I saved the wrong post here. And we're just going into more raises this week. Kuru is excited to announce their 11.6 million series raise. And again, if they're burning like 4 or 5 million a year off headcount, it's not too much because they need developers. They need just regular personnel. So, I mean, that is a lot of money though. So what are they building? Let's find out. Their mission is to be the trading hub for Monad, unifying liquidity across the ecosystem. So Paradigm wants to get additional exposure to Monad, a very hyped up ecosystem. So they have a lot of people promoting them. They have the strongest community, and we'll have to wait and see how their launch goes. So we've seen a couple hyped up communities, but post-launch, post-TGE, after the token goes live, people kind of disappear. So I think, this raise just says, hey, we want a little bit exposure, but we don't want too much. And that's how we should be approaching our investments. And here we go. Phantom is introducing perps. Now, this had some drama in the markets this week because, Phantom originally launched on Solana. They started supporting EVM, Ethereum chains. They started supporting Sui. And now, by introducing Phantom perps, they are supporting Hyperliquid. So Phantom has really branched out and is supporting a lot of different ecosystems, but they've been getting some heat online for not supporting Solana because they had access to it, but they didn't do it. So that just goes to show that Hyperliquid has a lot of momentum, and we're going to start seeing more things there. And I actually made a video on Hyperliquid earlier this week. Feel free to check that out. It kind of dives into everything and getting started. And their product is literally built on chain. So you don't need an additional decentralized application to jump into. Once you jump in there, you're in their chain, and you can bridge in from a couple other popular chains. So I'm pretty excited about what they're building. And I think I also saw some flack about other chains paying a significant amount for Phantom to support their products, while Hyperliquid gets it for free. But that's because if users want to use Hyperliquid and they can do that through the Phantom app, Phantom is going to make money off that. So they see the opportunity there outweighs having to charge them anything. And I also hear that Hyperliquid is kind of the opposite of Solana, where they don't really have that supportive community or a supportive foundation. So Solana building their foundation is very supportive, whereas Hyperliquid is like, you're on your own. We're not giving you money, but if you want knowledge, we have some of that. So that just goes to show you build a good product, users will show up, and that's pretty much what you need. I also jumped into some of the FUD of FUD. Yeah, FUD the coin. So it was a meme coin on Sui, and I really liked the content. Everything was original. It was a lot of fun, and the coin just kept going down. Now, in this response video, which is a little long, from Trevin versus NFT, he goes into what happened and his situation and his role. He was in the ecosystem early, got a massive airdrop of $1 million, and kind of slowly sold off over time. I know, $1 million. I was like, I've never seen that kind of airdrop. Like, I'm never in that type of situation. But he goes into like, yeah, they were promoting it, but the team didn't like that, and the team just was kind of toxic. And then the team just started firing people, and some people weren't getting paid out properly. So they had a good team, a good angle, but the dynamics of how things worked out just kind of went to crap. And I think that also kind of adds into how difficult it is to create a meme coin. A lot of the smaller coins are struggling on Sui. Most are under 20 million or under 50 million. Only like the Mist and Labs projects like Walrus or Deepbook have that larger market cap. And even though I'm a believer in Sui, there really needs to be more products that are for community building, for onboarding users. Now, there are a lot of great products out there, but I think they just haven't had that one thing that really clicks yet. So hopefully that's the SweePlay 0x1 when their gameplay devices soon. Speaking of Phantom wallets, what's your favorite wallet? Rabby. Rabby. You got to use Rabby wallet. It's very clean for EVM. If you're using Sui, use Slush wallet. If I'm using Solana, I use Phantom. I know that you probably could use Phantom for everything, but I like the features for the other stuff I'm doing where it's a little more uh, intuitive, or it has more robust features. Phantom does simplify things a little too much, and sometimes you want some of those advanced settings whenever possible. All right, that kind of wraps it up. I just want to do a stream on the news, try to keep up this momentum of showing up every Saturday and doing a stream. I think some of the other guys were traveling and I didn't want to push them too much. So yeah, that's good. This is my stream for the day, and more soon, depending on if Abstract approves us for streaming, and I'll probably try to get some BitGet live airdrops by showing up on their streams too. All right, with that, I hope you got your full value for today. Later, guys. This is the end talk to see if the stream ends properly, otherwise it gets clipped. I got to start doing that. I've been reviewing some of the